Back there.
Madam Speaker, yesterday, Kevin McCarthy dismissed the idea of a select committee as political. I've talked to some Democrats in the House, some Republicans in the House that worry that any committee that comes out looking at 1-6 will be looked at as political and therefore may not have the same impact. Do you worry that a select committee's findings will be dismissed or tainted somehow by?
No, I don't worry about that at all. I do think it would have been preferable to have an outside commission. There were those who thought that the Republicans would, God knows who they would appoint. I said that's worth the risk because I think that has a legitimacy in the public mind. But I have no intention of walking away from our responsibility. And I don't care what, I hope that Kevin will appoint responsible people to the committee. Yes, sir, next.
Is there a timeline that you want this committee to have a final report to you?
Yes.
Who will this committee report to, and what does that final report look like?
Well, the timeline will be as long as it takes for them, the time they need to do the investigation of the causes of this. There are two actual paths. One is about the root causes of it, the white supremacy, the anti-Semitism, the Islamophobia, all the rest of it that was so evident when you see a sweatshirt on one of the people saying Camp Auschwitz. The other is the security of the Capitol and what it means to be ready for such an insurrection. While I think we could have been better prepared, I don't think anybody would have foreseen an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. So the timetable will be as long as it takes. We were agreeable to doing it in a time frame that the Republicans felt comfortable with, but now another month has gone by and another month has gone by. So we'll just have to make the plan and see how long that takes. Yes, Ted?
On infrastructure here.
Infrastructure. Any further on that? One more, and then we'll go to infrastructure.
Speaker Pelosi, I'm wondering how important it is, or do you think it is, that the select committee call on McCarthy to testify about his conversation with Trump
I'm
that
not
day?
going into what the committee will do. That's up to the committee to make their determination. But it is clear that the Republicans are afraid of the truth. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll go to infrastructure.
Yes, please. On infrastructure. Obviously, there's this two-track plan here.
Right.
Bipartisan plan, they're going to go down to the White House shortly. Reconciliation
2025.
package. Obviously, the bipartisan plan is not done yet. That's not been socialized completely over on the House side yet. But the question is, do you think that a bipartisan plan faces problems in the House because of narrow majority, and that's why more of your members would prefer this bigger bill, something that gets into some of these other areas that aren't the steels and bridges and roads infrastructure, other types of infrastructure, as you might say?
Well, let me just say that I associate myself with what the president has put forth to build back better. What this bipartisan bill is more of traditional infrastructure, which is important, but we have to do more in terms of how we go into the future. So let me be really clear on this. We will not take up a bill in the House until the Senate passes the bipartisan bill and a reconciliation bill. If there is no bipartisan bill, then we'll just go when the Senate passes a reconciliation bill. But I'm hopeful that we would have the bipartisan bill. I think it would be really important to demonstrate the bipartisanship that has always been a hallmark of our infrastructure legislation. It's always been bipartisan. And less so when President Obama was president because the Republicans wanted to shrink the program. But nonetheless, it was a bipartisan bill. Some 11:45, we'll all be waiting to see what the announcement is, and then we'll go from there. But make sure you understand this. That when people say, well, I'm not going to vote for this unless I see that, there ain't going to be no bipartisan bill unless we are going to have the reconciliation bill. Yes, ma'am.
On the antitrust legislation in the works in the House, Madam Speaker, can you respond to criticism from Amazon, Apple, Facebook that these bills would be harmful to innovation and to consumers? And can you confirm that you did speak with Apple's Tim Cook earlier this month?
There's no question that let me just say what this is about rather than their characterization about it. There has been concern on both sides of the aisle about the consolidation of power of the tech companies. And this legislation is an attempt to address that in the interest of fairness, in the interest of competition, an interest of meeting the needs of people whose privacy, whose data and all the rest is at the mercy of these tech companies. So I've said to them, if you have a substantive concern, put it forth as Congress works its will. That's in my conversation with I don't know what the title is, President, CEO, was just that. In other words, Congress will work its will. They'll have the markup in committee. We'll go to rules if you have substantive concerns, and they have members who have voted with them on this. They can put forth what they want to put forth, but we're not going to ignore the consolidation that has happened and the concern that exists on both sides of the aisle.
Is there a way to do it, though, without, taking away features like prime shipping on some items or Find My iPhone apps that people are accustomed to and enjoy? Is there a way to strike a balance there?
Well, I don't think we're going to be having that conversation here, but we certainly want to meet the needs of the consumer. Consumer and competition, that's what our responsibility is about. And gosh, technology has been a wonderful asset to the future of our country. It has also been a challenge in terms of privacy, fairness, exploitation of people's data, and the rest. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When it comes to infrastructure, a number of progressives have said that while it's a good thing to see this bipartisan bill potentially moving forward, they may have to hold out for this human infrastructure element that they're really trying to see passed and become law. How are you trying to quell their potential concerns that, this piece of legislation may come up later on this year?
Well, as I said, there won't be an infrastructure bill unless we have a reconciliation bill. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be an infrastructure bill unless we have the reconciliation bill passed by the United States Senate, because we have the shared values. This is really important, what President Biden, what the Biden-Harris administration is doing. It really should give people hope. It's transformative, if not revolutionary. It's transformative in that we're talking about doing infrastructure in a way that is about the future, that protects our planet, that is resilient and green and sustainable. It's about doing it in a way that opens the door to many more people to participate in the prosperity of our country. It's about saying we want women to be part of building the future of our country. And for that, and for men too, dads too, we need child care. We need child tax credit. We need family and medical leave. We need workforce training and development so that many more people can participate. And we need our justice formula in there so that we're undoing harm done to neighborhoods of people of color and previously not represented, but underserved communities in that regard. So this is about something new and different. We all share that value, starting with the President of the United States. House and Senate Democrats are united in that we are not having we're not bringing, in our House, we're not bringing to the floor unless both bills pass in the Senate. And it's going to be, it's Building Back Better, with women. I always say with women, but with women I also mean with minorities, people of color, and the rest of that. With women, with diversity, with equity, with justice in our communities as we go forward. So we have a fabulous opportunity. And if we can do a chunk of it first in the infrastructure bill, that would be good. And I hope that that will happen. And we're hoping that in an hour we will hear that it will. But then we have to go to the, what happens, we go from there to the budget bill, which then enables us to enter into the writing of the reconciliation legislation. So this is a time of transformation for our country, and it's pretty exciting. And I'm very optimistic that it will happen. And I say allay the fears. I don't think they're fears. They're just advocating, and God bless them for doing that. But we're not going down the path unless we all go down the path together. Thank you all very much.